With the new trailer of Pokemon Legends ZA, we learned that AZ and Eternal Flower Floette will be returning. What if this Floette evolved? And what if there were more Pokemon that were affected by the ultimate weapon? Welcome wonderful souls, it's time for Brush with Death. Death is me and you can call me Grim. I'm super excited for the new Pokemon game, and a lot of people are really happy that AZ and Eternal Flower Floette are peaceful partners together. They're happy. For those that need a refresher on the X and Y lore, 3,000 years ago, there was a Pokemon war, and AZ was a king in those days, and he had a special Floette as his partner Pokemon. Floette freaking died. And to revive it, AZ created this ultimate weapon that will use the lives of other Pokemon to revive Floette. And it worked, making Eternal Flower Floette, and now it's immortal. But AZ was unsatisfied and kept using that machine to kill everything. After seeing the horror of what AZ did, Floette said, "Bah bitch, you've changed!" Because of the close contact he had with the ultimate weapon, AZ is now evil, which is why he's still alive after 3,000 years. So what if other Pokemon were affected? Those that didn't die in that war, becoming eternal Pokemon themselves. With Eternal Flower Floette, you can't help but imagine what an evolution for it might be. There's surprisingly only a few interpretations of what Eternal Florges will look like, but I thought I'd go with a different silhouette than Florges, an evolution that's older like AZ, keeping her grown eternal flower, holding it like a parasol. It also grows a floral bush hood like Florges, but less extravagant, less bushy, giving it a meek appearance. This is Eternal Flower Florges. I also came up with the name Eternal Forgotten. Let me know what you think it should be. This Eternal Flower Floette evolution will keep its pure fairy typing and ability Flower Veil, hidden ability Symbiosis. With its ominous flowers spreading its seeds to various Pokemon, Florges feels a sense of accomplishment in life, sharing its immense power to other Pokemon granted with eternal life. It shadows itself under its wilting flower, living forever in peace. Did you know that Ultra Sun and Moon, Eternal Flower Floette has dex entries? The flower it's holding can no longer be found blooming anywhere. It's also thought to contain terrifying power, terrifying energy concealed in the ominous flower, but Floette swings it around like whoop. So yes, even though the ultimate machine did not grant Floette this special appearance, that flower Florges is holding is sus as hell. I'ma use it to explain why there's other eternal Pokemon with a similar appearance to it. Perhaps the new game will explain the true nature of this flower, but we'll have to see. I'm sure my logic in this video will be completely debunked, but you have to be subscribed so you can come back to this video at the end of the year and see how wrong I was. But let's move on to what Pokemon could have eternal forms. My first instinct, of course, was to try this concept on my favorite Pokemon of all time, Crobat. Since I did all types of Zubats and all types of Golbats, eventually Crobat had to be in a video, so here it is. Crobat's perfect in every way, shape or form, so the eternal form's not too big of a leap from the original design. Its lower wings maintain the fully formed wing shape, and rather than Crobat's will fade, it has the long tails that Zubat has. The body is also generally smaller than a regular Crobat. This is Eternal Wing Crobat, who will be dark and flying type. Its abilities will be like Crobat, Inner Focus and hidden ability Infiltrator, but as an eternal Pokemon, similarly to Floette and Florges, Crobat and other eternal Pokemon will be able to learn the move Light of Ruin, which will draw power from the Eternal Flower Seed shared by Eternal Florges. Being smaller than a regular Crobat, Eternal Wing Crobat will be swifter and quicker, becoming an extremely small moving target for its opponents. Their wings are sharper, powered by the Eternal Flower seed that the Crobat consumed. When X and Y came out, we not only got a new typing of Fairy type, Fairy also brought its own new evolution, Sylveon. So if there was an Eevee who had access to an Eternal Flower, perhaps it could evolve too. I wanted it to still have features of Eevee but bigger. I rounded its fluffy neck fur and made its ears and tail the shape of the Eternal Flower. I tried a black body with red markings first, but the striking blue, red and black color scheme made it really difficult to decide the color placements because it just kept looking like an Eevee edit. Thinking back to Glaceon having darker sock markings, I did that with a white base body and it turned out cute. Joking with some friends because I added face markings, a comment was saying that if I added a red nose, it would look like a clown. So I added a red nose and it looked like the clown. So but we thought it was kind of cute. So now it's a clown Eevee. Because the idea of new evolutions is a joke and y'all that want one are clowns. I'm just kidding. This is Eternal Evolution Evolion, which I know some might say Evion, but Evolion makes more sense since Eternal Evolution, and in French, which you know, Carlos is France, Eevee's name is Evoli, Evolion will be normal type with the ability Protein. With the power of Eternal Flower's ancient properties, this evolution gains features of a royal jester from 3000 years ago. Evolion grows a strong need to entertain, utilizing Eevee's popularity and its own cuteness to fulfill this need. Do you think the clown nose was a funny idea or would it have been alright without it? I don't know. I always make the joke that the world of clowns and the circus have always cursed me and haunted me. Everywhere I go, I see him. But I guess I clowned myself this time. The origins of Lunatone and Solrock have been a mystery in the games that will never get touched on. They're actually a fairly recent species, discovered only 40 years ago, rumored to be from space. But what if there were a few meteorites from 3000 years ago that brought an ancient form of these counterparts to Earth? Perhaps the ultimate weapons blast shot in the sky so high that in the atmosphere they expected some space rocks or something, or an incoming meteor, and brought them to Earth, brought the Pokemon to Earth that looked like the fusion of Lunatone and Solrock. This is Celestroid, the meteorite Pokemon. It is rock and psychic type with the ability Rocky Payload. It's theorized that the broken appearance of this Pokemon is due to either its impact on Earth when it landed or from the blast from the ultimate weapon. Despite the simple task of a Lunatone and Solrock fusion, this was actually tougher to design than I thought. There's of course been many wonderful interpretations of this concept. Hopefully the broken segment made it somewhat unique. It's like a Geo where you break it open and inside you see a sparkly. Our final Eternal designs will be a new evolution line of Pokemon that need more love. Clampo. I feel like Clampo is a Pokemon we all look and then they say, that's cute, yeah, I like Clampo. But in general, like if it is a conversation, you're not gonna think of Clampo as your top 10 favorite Pokemon. But we like it, but I'm not crazy about it. So I made Eternal Lure Clampo, the Bivalve Pokemon? How do you say that word? Like normal Clampo, it's water type, it's a Clampo, what do you expect? It has elements of the Eternal Flower pattern, and its eyes are now wide open. Being a long undiscovered eternal form, I would imagine this form of Clampo lives in the truest, deepest ocean. Even though this appearance is mostly like a regular Clampo, this Eternal Lure Clampo has a special evolution unique to itself. For Eternal Clampo's evolution, I thought of it as like an ancient relative of Gorbis and Huntil. Not Paradox, that's a different thing, and maybe we'll have a video on Paradoxes sometime soon. Subscribe, you know. This is more like a species of Huntil and Gorbis that existed maybe when it was the early days of Relicanth. and it eventually evolved into separate animals, with a wolf eel, pelican eel-like appearance, very scary looking, kinda sleek with both a head fin and a tail fin, feelers that act like seaweed, so camouflage, and a large underchin infected with the power of the Eternal Flower. This is Eternal Lure Shreddermaw, the Dark Abyss Pokemon. It will have a new special ability called Alluring Darkness, which is kinda like Lightning Rod, but instead it attracts fairy moves, and Shreddermaw will be immune to fairy moves, which is helpful since it will be a water dark type. Its underchin has the allure of the Eternal Flower, attracting potential food to the jaws of Shreddermaw. This Pokemon lives in the deepest parts of the ocean, remaining undiscovered until recently. I think you would also notice that in all the designs, only the blue parts of the Eternal Form colors change the shiny, as the Eternal Flower is a separate entity of black and red color. This Eternal Flower, quite a mysterious item, Dex entries describing it as ominous and has a terrifying power. I do hope the story of Legend ZA will go into detail on the true nature of this flower and AZ's partner Pokemon. I hope Legend ZA has a good story, or a story in the first place. I know everyone is designing Megas now, but maybe take some time to design Eternal forms. But until the game comes out, keep creating and maybe you'll have a brush with death. I'll see you next video. Bonne journée. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.